This is the Dave Pamah Show, a global breakdown of how public systems actually work under pressure and why the same failures show up in different places around the world. I'm Dave Pamah, a retired firefighter, and this is where lived experience meets system reality. Today, I want to talk about something that has generated a lot of discussion inside the fire service and beyond. A report into South Wales Fire and Rescue Service says senior leaders displayed what was described as a flippant attitude towards equality, diversity and inclusion. The report recommends putting EDI at the centre of leadership, appointing EDI champions and strengthening how inclusion is embedded across the organisation. Some people will hear that and immediately think this is about politics. Others will hear it and think this is exactly what the fire service needs. But I want to step away from the headlines, because after nearly 25 years serving in the London Fire Brigade as a black firefighter, I've learned something. Whether a public service ends up arguing about culture, there is usually a much bigger system problem underneath. This is what I want to explore today. Not who wins an argument, but why organisations reach this point in the first place. When most people think about firefighters, they imagine emergencies, burning buildings, road traffic collisions, rescues. But that's only part of the story. The fire service is also an organisation. It has managers, budgets, promotions, recruitment, training, policies, performance reviews, complaints, leadership teams, politics. Every fire service in the world has two jobs, the operational job and the organisational job. Most of the public only ever sees the operational side, but many of the biggest problems happen inside the organisations itself. I spent almost 25 years in the London Fire Brigade. I wasn't looking to become a symbol. I joined to just do the job, to protect people, to work as part of a team, like thousands of firefighters before me. The fire doesn't care about your race. The smoke doesn't care whether you were born or where you were born. The casualty trapped inside a building doesn't care what religion you are. When the bells go down, everyone has one objective: save life, protect property, work together. That's the operational reality. But organisations are made up of people. People bring different experiences, different assumptions, different backgrounds, and sometimes different blind spots. That isn't unique to the fire service. It's true of hospitals, police, schools, the military, business. Any people work together, anywhere where where people work together. The headlines focus on what words are like, or the words like flippant, or culture, or diversity. But underneath those headlines are bigger questions. How do leaders influence organisational culture? What happens when staff stop trusting leadership? How can you improve diversity without improving inclusion? Can you improve inclusion simply by introducing more training? Those are the difficult questions. And there aren't easy answers, because culture cannot simply be written into a policy document. I think these two words often get mixed together. Diversity is about who joins, and inclusion is about what happens after they arrive. They're different. Recruiting people from different backgrounds is immeasurable. Making people feel respected is much harder. You can recruit more women, more ethnic minorities, more disabled staff, but if the workplace culture doesn't change, people leave, or they stop speaking honestly, or they simply survive rather than thrive. That's true in every profession. The report also says some firefighters describe EDI training as demonising white, toxic macho men. Whether that's an accurate reflection of the training or simply how some staff experienced it, that reaction matters. Because once staff believe training is attacking them personally, they stop listening. Psychology tells us something very important. People really change when they feel attacked. They become defensive. That's human nature. So leaders have to ask themselves a difficult question. Is our communication helping people engage or encouraging people to switch off? That isn't about abandoning EDI. It's about understanding how change actually works. Fire services are unusual organisations. They rely on trust, absolute trust. The person standing beside you could one day save your life, or you could save theirs. That creates incredible strong cultures. Strong cultures create loyalty, but they can also resist change. Not because firefighters are bad people, but because stable organisations naturally protect familiar ways of working. Every military organisation, every emergency service, every long-established profession faces exactly the same challenge. Oh, this isn't just happening in Britain. Look around the world. Fire departments in North America have had similar conversations. Police services across Europe, military organisations in Australia, emergency services in New Zealand, large corporations in Asia, healthcare systems throughout Africa. Different countries, different politics, different histories. Yet remarkably similar debates. Why? Because every large institution eventually asks the same question. How do we modernise without losing what makes us effective? That's the system's challenge, not just an EDI challenge. So, as a black firefighter, I understand why representation matters. When communities see people who reflect their society, confidence can grow. Young people may think, maybe I belong there too. That matters. But emergency services also depends on competence. Public confidence comes from knowing firefighters are trained, professional, trusted, capable. The challenge for leadership is ensuring those two objectives reinforce each other rather than compete with each other. Too often, public debate creates false choices. Either you support diversity or you support operational effectiveness. Either you care about culture or you care about performance. Real life doesn't work like that. Good leadership should improve both. A stronger culture should produce stronger operational teams. If it doesn't, leaders need to ask why. Leadership isn't about making everyone happy. That's impossible. Leadership is about helping organisations move through change while maintaining trust. That's incredibly difficult, especially inside the emergency services. Every decision gets scrutinised. Every promotion gets questioned. Every policy creates supporters and critics. The higher you climb, the more complex those decisions become. This case also raises another important issue: governance. Following publication of the report, the Chief Fire Officer left his role and commissioners were appointed to oversee the service. Whenever outside intervention reaches that level, it usually tells us confidence in existing governance has broken down. Whether you're looking at the fire service, healthcare, transport, or local government, external intervention is often a sign that system itself is under strain. That does not automatically tell us what the right solutions are, but it does tell us that those responsible for oversight believe significant change was needed. Here's something people really talk about. Most firefighters simply want to do their jobs well, protect their communities, look after each other, go home safely. When organisational debates becomes highly polarised, frontline staff can feel caught in the middle. Some worry about saying the wrong thing. Others worry that legitimate concerns won't be heard. Still, others just want the focus to stay on serving the public. Those pressures can affect moral trust or morale and trust, regardless of where individuals stand on the issues. A culture change cannot rely on slogans. It needs consistency, fairness, transparency, leaders who listen as well as lead, staff who feel safe raising concerns, clear standards that apply equally to everyone, and accountability when those standards are not met. The aim should not be to create winners and losers inside the organisation or inside an organisation. It should be to build a workplace where people can challenge ideas respectfully, learn from one another, and stay focused on delivering the best possible service to the public. This isn't only about one fire service. It's about how institutions respond when culture, leadership, and public expectations collide. Whether it's the fire brigade, a hospital, a police force, or a private company, the questions are similar. How do you recruit from the widest possible talent pool? How do you make people feel they belong? How do you maintain high professional standards? How do you build trust between leadership and frontline staff? Those aren't easy questions, but avoiding them doesn't make them disappear. So, when I look back on my own career, I don't define it by policies or reports. I remember the people, the crews, the incidents, the teamwork, the moments when people from completely different backgrounds trust each other with their lives. That's what the public depends on. Culture matters because trust matters. Leadership matters because trust starts there. And whatever reforms are introduced, they should be judged by a simple question. Do they help create a fire service that is fair, professional, trusted, and capable of serving every community when that emergency call comes in? Because that's what the public deserves. Not endless arguments, not headlines. A service that is ready when people need it most. Because whether it's here in the UK or anywhere else in the world, these systems don't fail in isolation. They fail in patterns. And once you understand the patterns, you start to see it everywhere. This is the Dave Pamah Show.